Hello everyone, it's me, Juan Giver 4 back in another video, and today we are going to be reacting to not quite we're watching MatPat, yes, but we're going to be watching some old MatPat in the past. This is the 2018 video, Christmas Broke the Grinch, or rather, How Christmas Broke the Grinch. Yeah, basically the same title. So yeah, why not? Let's go back in the past, relive some of MatPat's old videos, and who knows? It's Christmas spirit, so why not? We got this much. So, let's react to the video, shall we? Dun-dun-dun-dun.
I may be out of line asking logical questions about a Dr. Seuss story, but I gotta ask one that's been bothering me since I was very, very young. What the heck is a Grinch?
I don't know.
Biologically, I mean. He's a furry green monster that lives alone in a snowy cave. There seems to be only one of him. He hates everyone, and yet he still owns a dog. According to the poem, he can slither like a snake through the Who houses, and according to the lyrics of You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, at various times he's a crooked, jerky jockey, a nasty, wasty skunk, and a greasy black banana. I mean, internet! Your guess is as good as mine. Or I guess my guess is as good as mine, because I know at some point I'm gonna have to be the one to answer my own question, aren't I? It's lonely being a theorist sometimes.
My bad.
Hello,
Don't want to get
Internet.
copyrighted, but yeah.
Welcome to Film Theory, the show that'll warm the cockles of your heart and then inspire you to look up what cockles actually are. Fun fact. Apparently, they're small bivalved mollusks, and the reason we say cockles of our hearts is because somebody hundreds of years ago mixed up the Latin word for snails with the Latin word for ventricle, and we just never bothered to fix it.
Yeah, here,
Anyway, with the
Mr.
ethically
Kool-Aid Man.
compromised holiday of Thanksgiving behind us, it's time that we go straight into Christmas mode.
Yes.
Tis the season for nostalgic remembrances of advent calendars, elementary school pageants, oh, the cringe, and walking through the aisles of Toys R Us.
Rest in peace.
All while being enchanted by things like dolls with stretchy arms and uncomfortable pieces of plastic that'll bruise the bejesus out of your ankles. But it's important to consider that not everybody remembers those times so fondly. Of course, I'm talking about the Grinch, one of the most plainly evil characters in all of the Western canon.
Yeah.
Sure, I can get behind some anti-heroes who make questionable ethical choices, but stealing the source of joy from all the Who children in all of Whoville is simply beyond the pale.
A menace.
The Grinch also has one of the most memorable turnarounds of any villain that I can think of when he brings everything back to the Who's, and more importantly, has a very literal change of heart.
Yeah.
To use the original source material, we should say that the Grinch's heart grew 3 sizes that day. Now, I'm not sure what old Doc Seuss meant by 3 sizes. Hearts don't come quite as standardized as khakis. By the looks of that visual representation, the only Christmas miracle here is if the Grinch's heart doesn't crack a rib. But the question I have today is how much of this is a tall Christmas tale and how much of it could actually happen? Could the Grinch survive his heart growing 3 sizes? Or is the end of How the Grinch Stole Christmas an awful lot like the middle of Alien?
Ooh.
Was it really the Christmas spirit that made his heart swell, or is there something else to blame? Is the end of one of our all-time favorite Christmas stories a tragic disaster instead of a heartwarming tearjerker? All coming up on this episode of Grinch's Anatomy, where we're gonna need 50 cc's of theorizing stat.
Okay, before we continue on this video, I want to point out that I actually have read the OG Grinch story on my second channel, so I will leave in the description down below. I'll leave a link on the description down below if you guys want to read that. I had fun reading it.
If we're going to consider the ramifications of the Grinch's heart suddenly going where no heart has gone before, we have to first consider the state his heart is in. We're told right off the bat that the narrator believes the reason the Grinch hates Christmas is that his heart is 2 sizes too small. 2 sizes
too small.
It might seem like that should be enough to kill the Grinch outright, but tiny hearts are indeed a thing among human beings. Since the Grinch talks and stands upright and owns a dog, we are, for the sake of simplicity, gonna compare him to a human being when it comes to whatever crazy heart condition he has. Small
Okay.
heart syndrome is a relatively uncommon and uncreatively named condition that results in low oxygen levels in the blood and a tendency towards extreme fatigue, even after normal levels of physical activity. Research also shows that having a small heart makes it vastly more likely that the individual will have chronic fatigue syndrome. I know it's starting to sound a bit like one of those minute-long commercials that come on during The Price is Right, but trust me that I'm going somewhere with all this.
Okay.
Chronic fatigue syndrome, or CFS, makes you feel constantly tired, puts you in a sort of mental fog, gives you sleep problems, poor circulation, and makes you more sensitive to external stimuli like noise. We can see from his general Grinchy shape that the Grinch is definitely skipping leg day, and arm day, and ab day. So we definitely have evidence pointing to fatigue and lethargy, and all that stuff about poor circulation, which would cause cold hands and feet, may explain why the Grinch bothers to wear shoes, but neglect pants. The real clincher here, though, is that not only does chronic fatigue syndrome factor into the Grinch's small heart, it also perfectly explains why he hates Christmas in the first place. His rationale is mentioned casually at the beginning of the movie.
One thing I hate. Noise. I like actually doing that when I was reading the
Grinch has
story.
trouble sleeping in the first place due to his chronic fatigue syndrome, which also then makes him particularly sensitive to noise. I gotta say that I kind of feel some sympathy for the poor guy. Not only is he a societal outcast who lives by himself in a snowy cave, but he's got himself a chronic condition, and the only people he ever gets to see love to make a big hootenanny and make his life even more miserable with their cheerful sounds. And it's not like he's trying to kill all the Who's or burn down Whoville or steal their stuff on a regular
I love the
basis.
Grinch movie.
One time, on one day of the year, he just wanted to not be made miserable and have his health problems exasperated. And all of a sudden, he's this terrible person for life. Call me Grinch, Pat, but I think that the Grinch's actions are actually kinda defensible. I mean, trust me, as the father of an infant son, I have a newfound understanding of the desperation for a good, quiet night of sleep. Whatever that is, I can't even remember anymore.
But yeah, I do enjoy the Jim Carrey movie. I might react to it. Heck, I might even make a review on it. Who knows? We're going all Christmas on here.
Let's not forget that the Grinch doesn't even succeed at stealing Christmas. He feels guilty and gives it all back. Why do we hate this guy? I mean, they don't make supervillains out of people who are guilty of attempted murder, so why is this guy the worst when his only crime was attempted holiday theft? Could it be that the Grinch is actually the hero of Christmas?
No.
No, clearly not. And even if he was, that would be for a very different episode.
Ha.
So, the TLDR is that the Grinch has chronic fatigue syndrome and a teensy ticker, with the elevated heart rate and blood pressure that goes with it. So what does it mean for his prognosis when his heart suddenly plumps up like me after 3 rounds with Thanksgiving turkey? Well, it depends on what's going on, but the most likely explanation is that the Grinch has had a heart attack and a subsequent myocardial rupture. I know! Old cartoons are very scary, especially from a medical perspective.
Grinch.exe.
What does all of that mean? Well, when this happens, it means that one of the valves in his heart bursts open, letting all the blood that's very carefully regulated in and out of your heart rush in until the pressure equalizes. And that might sound like an extreme leap for a green Christmas monster, but tons of details in the story line up with this sort of diagnosis. Let's start with the fact that, again, due to his chronic fatigue syndrome, the Grinch is indeed pretty out of shape, even if that big Grinch wagon is doing just fine. And yet all Christmas night he's been running around from house to house, climbing up and down chimneys, javelining Christmas trees around, all while carrying the presence of the entire town with him. His muscles are going to be exhausted, and that includes the muscles in his heart.
Oh, come on!
To a free 5G phone. Plus, he's exhausted, and that includes the muscles in his heart. But then we get the clincher, the sequence when the Grinch's sled almost runs over the top of Mount Crumpet, and he sees the
Poor
error
donkey.
of his ways. He finds the Who resilience charming, and so he sprints up the rest of the mountain, a mountain we are expressly told is 10,000 feet high.
10,000 feet up. Up the side of Mount Crumpet.
The poor dog. I actually feel bad for this man. Why are you whipping this man?
Grabs the sled loaded with about 8 tons of presents, and then his heart grows 3 sizes to the point that it looks like it should explode out of his rib cage. While this may all look like he's just moved by the spirit of Christmas, in reality he's just moved by a lot of neurotransmitters. Nothing to take that magical feeling out of the holiday season like explaining it away with biology. I know how to have myself a good holiday. You see, when the Grinch notices the sled starting to go over the top, he's gonna have himself a moment of panic. You know, that sinking, jumping feeling in your stomach when you realize a big problem, or you have yourself a bad surprise. That feeling is adrenaline and noradrenaline coursing through your body. High levels of those hormones are the ones that are going to give you that dizzy, excited feeling, while also allowing you to run faster, or suddenly gain super strength in a moment of extreme need. Those are the stories that you hear about parents lifting cars off their children, people racing long distances to escape danger, or in our case, rescuing a town full of Christmas presents from the edge of a cliff. In this moment, he has, to quote the movie,
on the strength of 10 Grinches, plus 2.
Unfortunately, the other thing that a large sudden spike of those hormones can create is a massive heart attack. In particular, the sudden stress may cause arterial plaque to dislodge and clog up the heart with a blood clot. This itself isn't going to cause the Grinch's heart to explode, but it does give us a pretty good explanation for what we see in the cartoon. Myocardial ruptures, which cause the heart to swell up, almost always occur in the aftermath of a heart attack. A cardiologist from Johns Hopkins named Dr. David Cass actually discussed what could have caused the Grinch's heart to grow 3 sizes quickly. And one of his possible diagnoses was a ruptured valve, though he ultimately rules it out by saying that the Grinch wouldn't have felt so good when it was happening.
You're not going to be handing out lots of presents and, being cheerful. So that part didn't really fit so much.
But let's consider how the Jim Carrey version of the Grinch reacts when his heart is growing 3
Best
sizes.
Grinch.
Roll the tape. I don't know about you, but it looks like he's having some sort of coronary episode to me. But even if you're bothered by the fact that the Grinch in the animated version isn't having any kind of visible trauma, that doesn't mean that he hasn't had a heart attack. Some studies indicate that as many as 45% of people who have had heart attacks don't realize that they've actually had one. Even the Grinch's sudden warming towards the Who's may be evidence of this heart attack. The lack of blood to the brain during the heart attack sometimes causes feelings of euphoria for the sufferer. So while there is no Grinch doctor on the scene to confirm in the moment, the fact is that there's a high likelihood that the Grinch's heart wasn't receiving jolts of holiday joy and cheer. It was receiving jolts of adrenaline that overloaded his systems and literally caused his heart to short circuit. So then what happens? Well, now the Grinch's heart is blowing up like a balloon, but he'll probably be fine. Right? Christmas spirit and all that?
Yeah.
It depends on how severe the situation is, but it ain't looking too great. Up to 82% of people who experience some form of cardiac rupture will die within 2 weeks if it isn't noticed and treated immediately. If the rupture is severe enough that it breaks through the wall of the left ventricle, and judging by the visuals, that heart is breaking through every wall that's remotely near it, the mortality rate jumps up to 100.0%. Thanks, by the way, researchers, for including that
extra zero
in there for emphasis. Any way you shake it, the Grinch is almost certainly dead within hours or days of the movie's ending. Even if you refer back to the book, you see him carving the roast beast at the end, but he's just as dead as the beast on his plate because there is no chance that he sees another holiday season.
No.
What have we learned here today, friends? Quite simply that Christmas cheer is a deadly thing and MatPat is the biggest Scrooge of them all. But you don't have to take my word for it. The answer has been hidden since the very beginning. Just look at the lyrics to You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. Your heart's a dead tomato splotched with moldy purple spots. Dead tomato with purple spots. Oh yeah, it was there the entire time. You're a mean one, Mr. Seuss. But hey, that's just a theory.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a meme. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Like the video so I know you guys enjoy. Comment down below what you want me to react to next. Either be Christmas related or, anything you want me to watch before the year ends. And subscribe. We're trying to upload daily. This is 1Gamer54 signing off.